Welcome to another video for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and this time is a video I haven't done in a long time, or kind of longish time. It's one of those videos where I want to showcase a team and show what it can do, or at least give you an idea what it can achieve. And this time we're looking at Maul, and you remember from the past I've shared like several videos already, Maul beating JML, and also Maul beating Lord Vader. But this time we want to showcase how Maul does versus JMK. And the bottom comp here is the comp I used versus both JML and Lord Vader. Yet the comp we're looking at today is the top comp. And before we start this, all of this, huge shout out to Jaela. She's the brain behind all of this. I've met her on the Discord server of Fatal, I think it's called the Playbook, as well. And there was always a debate going on. Well, what Maul can do? He can beat Lord Vader, he can beat JML, and all these things. But she took it on the next levels by showcasing how you can beat basically any GL with Maul. And she made a video recently for this, and that's why I don't want to go into details because she explained all the details about modding and clocking and whatever is important to know in her video. So I really want you to check this out and give her a follow and like and all of kind of that. And so the only things I want to say is like I've tried this comp without Commander Asuka Tano and it was okay. Sometimes you got out 2 characters or 3 characters, but there always was this ceiling that you couldn't get behind. I guess if this at some point Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes like would allow you to use like 6 characters would be a different story. Because I tried it with like Treya or even with Nihilus in the team or like other non-Mandalorian support characters, so to say, to enable you to take out Cat, but also a tank in time and before being grilled by the JMK team. As I said, I won't go into modding specifics. It's just very different from what you usually would use on these characters, especially for Django and Bo-Katan, I'd say. So all I'm gonna say is they need to be beefy. And for Canderous, he's also a bit different than usual. But as I said, please watch the other video. It's I always think it's important to give a shout out to the people who came up with the stuff, like not just like the rough idea, but also like figuring out the details. And don't want to take credit for this. All I want to do is like showcase different comps that I've seen in Arena. Most of my arena consists of JMK with gas still because people, they just left in what they kept, what they had, and don't really play around or like don't try stuff. But I've also like recorded some fights against the JMK with Padme and with GMY. And other than that, yeah, I will stop here for now and go into the fights and we'll see how that turns out. So see you in a bit. So the first battle we're looking at is against JMK with gas. As mentioned, this is the most common comp I'm still seeing in Arena. However, I think it's worth showing because I think it's one of the hardest comps. So what happens here in this battle and what is necessary to get this whole thing going is to getting Cat out before she can do her shenanigans. I mean, she will do her shenanigans like taking out one of your characters. And for that, we have Django on the team. He's the only Mandalorian who has like a second life, so to say, like Bounty Hunter's Resolve. So if she takes him out, he will come back. That's why he's there, and he's essentially the dedicated tank of this team. And the other key to getting her out is Cat swapping to Canderous, and he on his basic, if he targets, as you can see here, or hits a target a third time, he will inflict Tenacity down. And Tenacity down then is the key to get rid of the taunt, because Maul, not only can he increase the cooldowns by 2 when he has 5 stacks of Anguish, but he also inflicts buff immunity. And when you then use when you have the buff immunity applied to to General Kenobi or to the tank there, and then use the first special to cleanse. You get rid of taunt, and then Cat can snipe the other Cat. And then it's just a game of taking out the other characters. I prefer, or I mean, prefer is a nice way. I'm forced, or you're forced to go after the tank. So Kenobi in this example, and usually it will help just to have like 5 stacks and then taking him out. So you ideally also want to wait until he's available for, you know, full impact of damage. So if there's bonus protection, it's potentially not the best way to attack. And then it comes down to how you have access to the characters, like where JMK applies his damage immunity to and all this kind of stuff. Here, I could take out Gas as the next character. It was fairly simple. But he usually, besides Cat herself, usually outside of Snips, the next character, so like the fifth, like the optional spot, so to say, the flex spot in this team usually is the one that causes problems. You have different problems, like if you have a very fast Gas, he gets to go after Cat directly, and he applies an AoE like Daze, or critically hits everyone. For especially Commander Sukatano, he increases their cooldown, so you cannot swap turn to Canderous and all these things. So that's where it can go downhill very fast. If there's a Padme, she naturally is a predator to Maul, because with each call to assist or like attack out of turn, you get like this little bit of bonus protection. So each and every flex spot character can cause some problems. I'm currently, what's the next thing I want to see is like how it does versus Mace. Haven't seen one in arena yet, but I hope I will see soon, and then I will report back. And here, as you can see, if the characters are out, the side characters like the tank, Cat, and the main damage dealer outside of JMK, it's fairly simple. Then one of my shard mates uses this team currently. And this was like funny, this was the first try I had against this team, because he just swapped it in recently. It felt kind of easy. I think GMY is almost like the easiest one to take out. And here I'm also going full out on GK, just out of spite, just to see what happens, you know, and I can take him out easily. And so then I can, with the next turn from my Cat, I take out Cat. So I have already both taken out. With both, I mean the tank and the main threat in this team. And so now I'm just left with those 3. I think still a very well-modded high relic, or very high relic Ahsoka Tano is dangerous. And even GMY can be a problem. Even though I think in this team, GMY not so much a problem, because he doesn't gain turn meter, so he's pretty much limited in what he can do. He's still dangerous, don't get me wrong, but you know, it's a different thing when he gets like back-to-back turns in a normal Jedi team, and here he's just like a little bit tamed by JMK's kit mechanics. Yeah, but as you can see, then again, the battle is straightforward. You just kind of stay alive and get your stacks of anguish, and once you have them, you take out the characters. And the only thing that you then, or that can happen, is like potentially at some point, like running into a timeout, depending on how JMK behaves and what you have available and all this kind of stuff, which you will see in the next battle. So I think it's not straightforward. General remark on this, this isn't like 100% reliable counter. I would say it's in this in the same realm as if you would take in Darth Vader back then with Watt and Thrawn versus the raid comps with Malak, or the raid comps with JTR and Malak that were like super tricky for Vader to take out at some point. I think it's in the same realm. It can go super well, but depending on how RNG plays you, and especially how RNG targets, it also can go down south hill pretty quick. I will also showcase a battle which didn't go well. It still is like to take out some tunes, so there's always room for a cleanup. But I think this is more like of a, I would generally say this is more of a strategic counter So usually you wouldn't want to take away CAT from your JMK team unless you have different plans for that. A little bit like goes back to my last GAC, where I said, yeah, I wouldn't split them up, but then I did. And I guess if you're willing to do that, this could be an option to take out JMK. Don't say this is the best option to take out JMK if you have other options like the 2-shot or whatever, you know. But off meta, you still have this option as well now. Then, which this is showcases the comp, which I personally think is the toughest with Padme, just because she is such a great support with her mechanics like the stun. As you can see here, goes for Django. He's almost taken out. But also she has the heal, she has the cleanses, she has her unique, where attacks out of turn add additional protection up. So it's a little bit like of a question of what you want to do. Ideally, what you can do is, which I didn't hear in this instance, but what you could do is increase the cooldowns of Padme with the first hit from Maul, so she doesn't do her heal. The downside of this is you potentially don't have 5 stacks of Anguish with the next turn of Maul, because you go with the first one, you go on Padme, then the second one to imply buff immunity on it. You don't apply with the second one. With the third one, you apply buff immunity, and then you have like 2 left, and then you make the special, you get 2 back, and then you are at 4. And so it's kind of hard, you know, to have the 5 stacks available. And usually, like Anguish should only be used generally if you have the 5 stacks. Other than that, the damage isn't really that great because you have this lacking first step, or this missing first step, so it can't stack so much eventually as you would expect it to. Yeah, but anyway, this is a tricky battle. Here you can also utilize CAT a little bit after her snipe. Essentially, what you can do is like just wait, use basics, pass like her buff around to Canderous or Bo-Katan, or even like to our friend Django. I think both is fine, or our 3 options are fine, and just get to see her to stack her damage. And then we have the Force Deep available at some point. You can potentially use it at some point. I had with my belts, I had one hit where she was like about like 500k, but it also depends on who the AI is targeting. If they go straight for her at some point and take her out, then of course then you don't have the option. And usually you also have to wait until bonus protection has fallen off from the characters, because other than that, a lot of like damage just gets wasted on a non-critical hit there. Here they are they're spreading their damage, which is kind of nice. So, but almost take out CAT. She's barely hanging in there, so that's why I used the Force Leap here, even though it wasn't the best move potentially. But yeah, allows me to now go for what's his face, General Kenobi, take him out, and then I just go straight for Padme because she's the most annoying one, then taking her out, and so then after that the battle is quite under control and you can just go for snips. But then again, like as I said, depending on how the whole thing pans out, you can also run in a timeout here. Especially if you're forced to go after a character who has like damage immunity or, you know, all these things. But in that cases, just like try to get Maul back to 5 stacks of Anguish, which is now here's the case. I'm just trying to get back to him, back to the 5 stacks, and just have to play a waiting game eventually. Then have to wait that the bonus protection falls off from Kenobi here again, so then I have a shot at him taking out with 5 stacks of Anguish. But it takes a while to get there, right? So and of course he stacks his damage, so then when he gets straight from Maul, there's also risk that he will take him out at some point. So there's a lot of like details to this, and that's why I think it's a counter you should use with caution. But it's also a lot of fun, because, you know, when you see that Maul can take out these teams and all the other Galactic Legends, it's just beautiful. Even though I kind of like Galactic Legends, I always like the off-meta more, like, you know, taking a bunch of wild characters and see what they can do. And this is like one great example of this. So also this comp is beaten. And then I now want to showcase as last battle, a battle that is a fail. As I said, it's not a hard counter by any sense or by any meaning, or like, and if a lot of things can go wrong, and AI has a huge role. But then again, that's the thing with off meta. I think, especially with when there's cat, there is no real off meta counter yet to that comp. In Grand Arena, you can get away potentially with dash, but you also want to use cat in there, right? So there's a little bit this tragic that all the off meta that they are, like Padme is there, there's potentially dash in Grand Arena. Death is also there in Grand Arena, of course. They all use cat. So this just shows how broken this team is, because when you compare it to Lord Vader, even to the strongest Lord Vader comps with Maul and other Desufus, there is an off-meta counter. Fennec, any comp of Fennec, you have to adjust them, but Fennec will take it out. Here it's just not the case. So yeah, anyway, so just going back to this fight, taking out Cat, now taking out Kenobi, and you see good position here. You only have 3 characters left. But the thing with Gas is he's just like such a damage monster that with increasing also like the cooldowns of critical hits and all that kind of stuff, that it really can get in your way, and you can at any point, if he gets like buffed by JMK too much and he uses an AoE, he can take out the whole team. So he's a threat. So that's the main problem of this team. That's why I said you potentially, if there were 6-7 characters in a team, it could work. Because then you could handle all the different priorities at any point in time. But if you have just 5 characters and you always get like hit several times with one attack from the other team, it's just like, yeah, a fight against the clock, but also against RNG in a certain way. Yeah, now Candace is gone and starts going downhill. Maybe I also played it wrong, but as I said, it's not as easy. Yeah, just letting this fight roll out, or this footage roll out, and end the video. Thanks for watching, and I will link Jaela's channel in the description, and please, as I said, watch the video, give it a like and all that kind of stuff. So thanks for watching, see you soon, bye.